Hello, everyone. Welcome to Virtually Speaking, the only VR podcast you need for all your VR news and updates. I am joined, as always, by my two lovely co-hosts, El Katoon and Quantum H. Say hello, guys.
Welcome back.
We are joined by, for the second time in a row, a very, very special guest with lots of insider information that he probably has but still won't tell us, Jakey Pants.
Hello. Thank you for having me once again. It's a pleasure to be here.
Anytime. We need the views. So today, Jakey Pants is known for a plethora of things, and in our videos, mostly Vail, because he has been a part of the construction of the Vail extraction shooter that's planning to come out at some point. We don't know when. He probably does. So we're just going to talk about this. Like, that's the entire episode. We're just going to talk. We don't have
let's talk about Vail.
So yeah, what if we start off with like a Jake Pants, just give us an overview of your of like the game and like the game mode and stuff like that.
Yeah. Give us a general intro.
Yeah, no, I can tell you all about it. It's gonna be really fucking cool. I was playing Delta Force with Tropical 3 days ago. He wanted to get me in a call. He's like, "Oh, do you play Delta Force?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I fucking love Delta Force." He's like, "Okay, like can we play?" I was like, "Okay." So jumped in a call with him. We were playing, and he's like, and this was right before the video came out. He was like, "So I want to tell you about the extraction mode, because from the game design document that you wrote for the extraction mode for Vail, it's going to be quite different from that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, man, that's fine, as long as I hope I was like some help in some way with, because the whole thing has like so much stuff in it, very, very specific details. It's like 11 pages of really outlines like very specific things in the game." And so he's like, "Yeah, man, like I've been loving Delta Force. Like I love how it's done." He's like, "We're gonna push the game to a like a very heavily Delta Force inspired game instead of like an Escape from Tarkov type game." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he was like, "There's a bit of inspiration from Hunt Showdown as well." And he's like, "But you won't be like eating or drinking. You won't be like, doing certain survival things like that." And I'm like, "Awesome, man. Yeah, it's a Delta Force, so it's very like objective driven." The reason it's going to be like Hunt Showdown is because I think there's going to be like map wide objectives. And then the reason it's not going to be like Hunt Showdown is because there's going to be loot. So it's like best of both worlds, and that's something I like about Delta Force, is like you kind of get the best of both. And Delta Force is the one game out of those 3 games, right? Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, and then now itself. It's the one game out of those 2 games, I guess you could say, that really did well and like stood out. Because we had so many failures like Cycle Frontier and Arena Breakout, but Arena Breakout's good and it's doing well, but I would just classify it as like a Tarkov game, like it's just, it doesn't stand out on its own. So Delta Force actually did try to reinvent the wheel and did a good job at it. And that was something I really warned Tropical about. I was like, don't try to reinvent the wheel, man. Like it's a hard thing to do. These games have failed so much more often than not. And yeah, so that's essentially what I learned.
Yeah. And it's sick because I was thinking, like, with now Exfil Zone being out, like it's gonna be a lot more hard for a game like Vail to compete with that. But because you guys are taking like a separate path, it's like gonna be nice, because the thing with like Tabor and Exfil Zone is they both kind of feel the same, just one's more polished than the other. But yeah, this will probably make it stand out like a way more as its own thing.
Yeah, Vail, like this was pretty crucial, because when Tropical came to me, this was like months before Exfil Zone was even going to be a thing. Like I had no idea. Nobody had any idea where Exfil Zone was going to be a thing. So he came to me and we were talking about what we should do. And my ideas for Vail was I was like, fuck it, let's crush Tabor. Let's do a hardcore tactical shooter in VR. Let's do the whole survival mechanics. Like I want Tarkov VR. Like Tabor is not delivered on that. You guys have amazing gun mechanics, and I think that's one of the biggest draws of the game. So my game design document outlined the entire health system that Tarkov had, like the entire survival mechanics, like everything that was in there, and as well as all the game modes and shit. But Tropical, he didn't end up going that direction, and I'm thankful he didn't, because now we have Tabor and Exfil Zone kind of going at each other, and Vail can kind of step to the side and make its own opening there. So I'm happy Tropical took that decision.
Yeah, because last time we talked, I think like a couple days later, like Exfil Zone was announced.
I think it was like
oh, really?
later.
Yeah, like it was like the game design document was done for about 2 months, and then Exfil Zone dropped. And it was like scary close to how many things that I wrote. It was almost like they read my document. It was that bad. And I don't know if it was just coincidence or if it was just super obvious, but like the whole thing with the scanners in Exfil Zone, the Mikas, the Mika scanners, that is all written in the game design document for Vail, and it's dated and everything. So now crazy thing is Vail took my idea for that, and they're going to implement that whole thing where scanners are going to act as dog tags, and you're going to have player data on it, and you're going to be there's a game mode that they took from me as well. They took a ton of ideas from me, so that was really cool, but it's just not going Tarkov route, but but that whole scanner thing that I wrote into the document, like Exfil Zone has, and I was like, that is creepy. And I messaged Tropical a few days after I started playing Exfil Zone. I was like, and I said that exact same thing. I'm like, I don't know if this was just obvious or if it was a weird coincidence, but this was the exact thing I wrote, like almost to a T. It was kind of crazy. So the scanners were a good idea. Yeah.
And are you guys like in contact with anyone from Caveman Studios, or like, because I heard they're like pretty quiet, like they don't say a lot about what they're developing?
I talk to Lon quite often. Talked to him 2 days ago. But he's a pretty quiet guy. Like you kind of have to really provoke him. I don't work with them, so I've asked him directly about modular weapons, and he said if you know, you know. So I assume there's going to be some sort of modular system coming. Nighttime should be coming. It doesn't sound like they're going to do it like Tarkov, because Caveman Studios is really careful about splitting their player base right now because of the tragedy with their battle royale. They had done that with Resurgence, and it fucked them over. So they're very cautious about that, and I like that they're cautious about that. Unfortunately, that makes it so they probably won't come out with a PvE mode, which so many people ask for, which I don't care about, but I know a lot of people want one. But they're just super careful about that. So from what I know, modular weapons could be there could be some sort of something like that, and a nighttime for sure. Nighttime variants. Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about Vail or Exfil Zone?
I'm talking about Exfil Zone. Yeah. This is information I'm trying to weed out of Lon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like, do you have any idea of like how big their team is compared to like Vail or like Ghost of Tabor?
Yeah, they have about I think around 12 actual developers, and a few more employees kind of managing the business. And it gets me thinking, man, because they've been in the game a while, but you can get a lot done with 10 developers. 10 people sitting at a keyboard working away. You can get a shit ton done as long as you're talented and you know what you're doing. And like, we look at games like huge ambitious games like Scum and stuff like that have like maybe 4 people working on it at a time. And so there's some amazing games out there. You've got like Road to Vostok, which is like one guy, and like I played that demo not long ago. It's incredible. I'm like, holy shit, this guy is crushing it. So you can get a shit ton of stuff done with 10 super talented people, as opposed to 100. We're talking Ghost of War now. They have over 100 employees. Not all developers. I think they got about 40 developers. Super inefficient, unskilled, type of thing going on. So
crazy that they have 40 and Exfil Zone is doing it so much better with 10.
Like
that's actually wild to me. Like if you put those numbers up, how are you even possibly defending Tabor at this point?
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. It also like is probably like their companies are run very differently.
Yeah.
Like
Scott,
from
what I've heard, Scott's not the greatest owner, I should say. Employer, is that the right word? Yeah, employer.
Yeah, it could be. I feel like I don't know Scott well, but he reminds me of a boss, my last boss. I haven't had a boss in like 8 years, but my last boss was just like that, and he was a nightmare to be around. Like like very like emotionally exhausting to be around. One week he's amazing, incredible guy to be around. Next week he's fucking depressed and just a drag on everybody, and it's terrible for morale. And I think Scott's all over the place like that, and he just reminds me of that creature type, even though I don't know him. I don't know for sure, but I think it's something like that. He's very emotional, and that's just going to be a tough thing to be around. And he's going to make emotional decisions that fucks with the company and fucks with morale. I think that's what's going on over there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's also had his fair share of reasons to be the way that he is.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
We'll touch on here, but I do. Yeah. There are quite a few, and it sucks for him. Back to the Vail thing.
Yeah. I have a question about that. So, I guess it is on topic because it's about Vail. But do you think we'll see an implementation of like detachable scopes and like silencers and stuff for the guns in Vail, or will they still be like kind of like when you find them, they're kind of just the same?
We better.
That won't be a thing when it comes. It's coming in March, by the way, for a public test. It's going to be alpha test, I believe.
Is that public information, or are we just getting to know this? Like, we are the first people to hear of this.
It is a rumor. Tropical mentioned it in the Discord the other day.
Okay, so
it's a rumor. He told me before anybody. It's a rumor. So, they're aiming for March, but it will be a thing eventually. That he had promised that this will be a thing to me. He's only ever told me that will be a thing.
New information for the public.
Yeah, kind of. I got some other tidbits. I know he mentioned that like a year ago that they were going to do that, but nobody knew they were going to do an extraction mode. So that and extraction weren't in a one-word sentence before that, but yes, that's going to be added to the game. Detachable silencers, grips, scopes, all that shit's going to happen. Yeah,
but not on the launch of the open beta. Is it a beta test or an alpha test?
It's an alpha test.
Alpha test?
Yeah. It will be. I don't know if it's going to be alpha or beta. I haven't asked him about that yet. I'm not even sure what the difference is. I know.
Yeah. I mean, all these words get thrown around a lot, and I feel like for every game it's different. It's not like.
I'm pretty sure alpha is an earlier stage of development.
Yeah.
I have some absolutely mind-blowing information for you guys, actually. Now that I think
Let's hear it.
So this extraction mode is going to be part of Vail's free-to-play.
Yes!
What? It will be.
Yeah, it's going to be completely free. Yeah.
How?
Yeah,
wait. That's actually crazy. Okay, let's hear you out.
I don't know how it works. I got to be honest.
Microtransactions, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I hope. I want them to make money somehow, and they've been. I don't get this industry, man.
Because does Vail make a lot off of like microtransactions, or more off people getting like the actual game at this point?
I don't know. This industry is so fucked, man.
Yeah.
I spent an hour in a call with Tropical yesterday, and he was really breaking it down for me, and I was like, oh my god, man, this is such a Wild West industry. Like the money, oh my god. Like, I worry about all these guys, Ghost of War included, and I think they're doing well, but damn, the money is tight in these companies, man.
But then you have games like Gorilla Tag that made like $10 million off of just like
100 million.
100
million? They made a lot. They
broke 100 mil.
They're one of the largest grossing companies in VR. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then like other indie games. Yeah, barely clinging on sometimes.
What I'm being explained here, it's fucked, man. So meta keeps changing a lot and really quickly, and it's up to these business owners, like guys like Tropical, to pivot all the time. And I would hate to work in tech, man, or anything and rely on that. It's just, and especially, you got tech, all right? So that sucks. You're, get involved in some startup app or startup tech company. That's going to be, 99.9% failure rate. Then you get involved in gaming tech. Okay, that's even closer to, the void here. And then you get involved in a very niche, gaming space such as VR, which is just like incredibly difficult to get through, and the money is ridiculous, and the ecosystem at Meta it's fucking over developers, and it's a really scary place right now. And so what Tropical's plan is to increase his free to play environment, because Meta is they're trying to become the next Steam, right? So or kind of Game Pass. They want you to get a membership, and then you'll have free access to all of these games. And so for Vail to be able to compete in that space, they need to add to their free to play ecosystem. And so to make people download the game and play it with a Meta account, so that way Meta can pay Vail. Before, Meta was relying on customers straight from customers, right? The money.
Yeah.
But now it's like now he's like, fuck, I got to pivot and go into this like free to play ecosystem. And this is why the extraction mode is going to be free to play.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. You explained it.
It's fucked.
So then. I feel like
we have our title. I think that should be the title of our episode, because that'll bring in views. What? It's free?
Free. It's gonna be free. I should really. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be saying it, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. You should let us know, because if we need to cut anything out, you should definitely tell us, because
let's say it's tentative. Let's say it's tentative, okay? Because it was like something brief he said. And then that's what he had told me, and that explanation I just gave you was what he went into. So I don't know if that decision's finalized. Yeah.
So maybe we don't make it the
free to play.
Make it tentative, okay? Because like release scenario, it's fine. Just make this tentative. But put it in the title. Be like, possibly, free to play, something like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Know if.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you know if the open alpha or beta will be open, or will it be like? Because I know some are open and some are like closed.
I believe. March, the end of March. Look for it at the end of March. I believe it's going to be open
for like PC and Quest.
For both, yeah.
Okay, sick. Yeah, I'll definitely look for that.
We can all get our hands on it soon. I'm supposed to actually do internal playtest on Monday, just with the core dev team. Yeah. And I haven't got they've already done a few, and I've been at work and I missed it. And I'm super pissed off, but I want to see it. It's literally blank box like maps, like no skins on anything. Yeah, we're literally like playing and testing shit. But like I haven't been able to get there. So Tropical said Monday, and I'm gonna message him and make sure I get in there. So
but holy those this is on a different note, but those new the training grounds are so fun. They were crazy good for like also adding like to the free to play stuff. It's so fun because you don't get like this, you get like a good mix of like the quest kiddies and then also like the slightly sweaty guys. But then and then you also get these like super fast paced close quarters maps that are just really fun. And it's also like, I don't know, I found it's really good for XP grinding, because most of the people on there are like not great.
Free to play
it's fun. Yeah.
It's a very cool that like they're adding to their ecosystem, their free to play ecosystem. I'm worried that they're being strong armed into it by Meta, and that's unfortunate. And I hope they survive as a company, because holy shit, that can't be easy. And like, but it really does give consumer. It does show consumer respect, and anything for the consumer is like what my channel is about. Is like, I always want to tell people how to save money, how to be respected as a consumer, and not fall for bullshit. And Vail has always been just so good to the consumers. That's why I love that company.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy to see that they're adding so much stuff to their like free to play. And
and the battle royale too, and a campaign. And I think all of these are going to be free to play. Like all the shit.
That's gonna be great.
Don't hold me to that, but I think that's the case.
Yeah. So have you guys? Because I guess once you have the not exfil zone, but like the extraction mode out, it'll be like a lot easier to implement those like battle royale and like campaign stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep. The extraction mode is extremely difficult, I'm being told. And the battle royale and campaign are going to be the easiest parts about it. So those should come out. I'm hoping more feature complete and like ready to go. With extraction modes, it's important to come out in kind of like something that fucking works. Okay, like at least, right? So release it that works. Maybe it's unfinished, but it's important to get feedback from the community, and know how you're going to do it, because extraction game modes are such a freeform type of mode.
Yeah.
And it's really important to get community feedback, and yeah, it's important. And what was I going to say? So it's a freeform mode, and make it not buggy, right? This is X Lab's goal here, is to make quality games.
Yeah,
make it not buggy.
A bug in VR is like 10 times worse than on flat screen.
Yeah, it's very like, in your face. Like,
and it kills the immersion.
Metaphorically speaking and actually speaking, yeah.
And but kind of their reputation right now is like that they're the least glitchiest game out.
Yeah, the reputation is quality. Tropical has made that a point. That's been their direction, right? When you make a game or make a YouTube channel or anything artistic, really, it's like how do you stand out from the rest, right? That's the question you gotta ask yourself. And in games, that's their approach, is always have a quality product. And that's why it kind of takes them a long time to kind of move on stuff, right? Because they're really making sure things work. And and when you have something that works but is unfinished, the community is going to be far less distracted about bugs and actually be able to give real feedback. That's why when you go from, say, like Ghost of War's Discord to like Vail's Discord, you can kind of take a measurement of the toxicity, right? A little bit different. By a little bit, I mean hugely different, because the community isn't toxic and pissed off that they paid for essentially something that barely works at all, compared to Vail. That's very quality. They're experimenting with things that work, and I think that's why the community likes them so much.
Also, for the campaign, I don't know how much you guys have developed this, but like it is going to be like a story mode, right?
Yeah, I know very little about it because I haven't been involved. Like, I'm supposed to be like the extraction specific guy, so maybe we'll learn about it sometime.
Because I would love to see some like urban combat in like a Vail city looking thing. That would be so sick.
Well, did you see this map, the island map? It looks
I know,
cool.
I want to talk about that next.
Small.
Because it looks small, but I feel like I want to know, is it like very like it's super close quarters, right? Like it's very urban and like
it's close quarters, but like I don't know if you guys saw. I didn't mention this in the video, but did you guys see the character models at the spawn points on the map?
No,
that I showed. So there's these little red dots, and I forgot to fucking mention it, and I'm kicking myself for it. But there's these little red dots in, I think, 5 corners of the map, and that's your spawn points. If you zoom in on them, the character models are actually staying there, and they're very small. Like, so the area is huge. And you got to understand, like in Vail universe, gigantism, or I think that's the word for it, for its architecture, right?
That's the brutalism.
It's the culture of the new Vail world, right? So buildings are really, really large, and everything's really, really big, right? So the map looks pretty sizable, and especially compared to what I saw from the character model.
Yeah, and it looks
without
sick
being able to see those, without being able to see those character models for a reference, because I didn't notice them in the video either. It looks not very big.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm zooming in here. You can't even. Yeah, no, I see that. That's
they're huge. Small. Like, so, like things. I guess the assets on the map look very. I mean, they're very big compared to the character models, and that's for one. That's only a blueprint of the map, right? You're not actually seeing the actual skins, and two, like. That is so zoomed out that you can't see those little character models in there. And when I actually saw them, when I was like really looking at the map, I was like, damn, these are like, it's actually sizable. It actually looks like, I could be wrong, and the character models might not match the map, but it looks as big as like, say, Island on Ghost of War almost.
It does, yeah. And also all that like close quarters is gonna make it feel a lot bigger, right?
Yeah,
like if you have a lot of like if it feels kind of like a maze almost to people, it'll feel a lot bigger traveling through it, because they have to. It's not a straight path that they're taking. Because in Tabor, you could just walk straight and like go
it's like, where are we going? We spawned here, so we're gonna go here, kill the guys that spawned here, and get out here. And
The POIs are kind of spread out, but like Vail, this map looks so. Like, the one thing I knew about, the one thing that really stood out to me about Tropical is he loves games for games. Like, he loves the game part of the games, not the artificial difficulties and not like the weird like mundane bullshit about games that kind of are put in place to slow you down on purpose. Like he loves games for like the game, have the rules of the game and you play that game. That's why he likes Delta Force so much, is because it's more built around the game than like the immersive like survival aspects. And that's what I love about this map. I'm looking at, I'm like, damn, like the PvP in this map is going to be amazing. The flanks, like the barriers, the stuff you have to walk around, like it's going to be such a cool map just for the playability of it.
Yeah.
And that's what it was built for. It's built, it's purely for the fun. So that's what I loved about that map.
Yeah. Is there going to be some hidden lore stuff in the map too? I'm guessing. You should add it.
I've been smashing them over the head with this ever since I was asked for help. Is that like you need to take the lore seriously? It's going to do so much heavy lifting with the marketing, but for me, because I understand Tarkov so deeply, is that Tarkov is an incredibly immersive game because you're consciously and subconsciously immersed because you understand this deep lore while you're playing. You may not be thinking about it, but it's in the back of your head playing that game with you while you're in this beautiful map, right? And so lore is going to be a huge part of Vail, especially in this extraction mode. All those buildings are named something based off this big lore that they have built around the game. And it gives me chills, like how fucking good it's going to be and how catered to the universe of Vail that every little aspect of that map's going to be. So very good lore. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love like the architecture too. Like just the style of the game. Even like going onto their website, I was so surprised how like well made the Vail website is for like a random like, VR game. It's insane.
It's crazy, right? And like it's Tropical's brother that started making this stuff.
Actually,
like, he started, and like the reason it's so like the way it is now is because he started in like 2007, and like they didn't even become a company till like 2018. Like he's been working on that for 11 years before they even made it into a game. Like he was just working on that stuff, and like
just the art style or like just the
mostly the movement, like how things function. It's like guns, characters, like everything moving around. Like he was ironing that stuff out a decade before the company started, and Vail was even
that explains a
conception. Yeah, that's why it feels the way it does. That's why it feels so good. And because they figured it out before they started. Like, you have other companies like, like basically any gaming company that starts and it's just a buggy mess and they're optimizing and they're just having so much trouble and they're just doing this as a company or as a game that's public. And everybody's like, well, yeah, games are hard and they take a long time, but they already went through that.
Because I guess when they knew what they wanted to do, they just had to like actually do it, right?
Yeah.
So like once they did, it was just.
I'm about to interview all. They got their idea from this girl. I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her. I can't wait to interview. She's my most anticipated interview though. But she released an album before she even knew these guys, and it was all in virtual reality. So put on the headset, you go through this essentially like virtual world where you'd listen to the music, and they took it with heavy art style inspiration from her, as well as as well as things like Dune and like Star Wars and all that science fiction stuff too. So very like and like Equilibrium, if you guys have ever seen that movie.
I love that movie.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
It's awesome. Not many people know about it, but it's so good. And it has like famous actors.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, isn't it? Who is it? Like, who's the famous actor in it?
I don't remember. I watched it.
What's his name?
Like a year or so ago. I'll look.
This looks like some Matrix.
It's like a Matrix thing, yeah. And they do karate with guns. Yeah, it's sick.
I see where I see the inspiration. Damn, that looks so much
the trench coats. Yeah.
Even like the black and white trench coats.
Yeah. They've never
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Yeah. They've never told me directly that they took inspiration from this movie, but it 100% they did. Like, it's like trench coats and everything, bro. And like the music and the big architecture and like how like Rayab took over the world, right? Like Rayab, the corporation, like took over and everything's like brutalist and everything. That's the same as this movie. It's like it's so inspired. It's incredible.
That's actually sick.
I'm even looking.
Gonna watch that.
I'm even
Yeah.
looking at a scene where a bunch of guys in black trench coats are fighting a guy in a white trench coat.
White trench, yeah.
That is
It's a little close.
Vail's the helmets.
Oh shit! Really? Oh shit!
The helmets
I
are
didn't
the
even see that.
same.
I gotta look at that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
Yeah, just look up equilibrium, go to images and scroll down for a little bit. They look the exact.
Yeah,
No.
they've never admitted that they took inspiration, but like,
Yeah.
man, yeah, that's so funny. They absolutely did.
That
You know
is
what's-
really funny, actually. I did not expect that.
Yeah, another really special thing, and I always emphasize like art style and lore. Another like special thing about Vail is how they do their retro futurism, which is it's like a type of style where you're basically, it's like, you know, in Fallout, everything looks like it's from the 60s, but it's actually in, you know, 2100 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called retro futurism. You're taking a style from the past but implementing into the future. And
Yeah.
and
I don't know.
no one has ever in pop culture taken retrofuturism inspiration from the 90s and put it into the future. That's
Yeah.
never been a thing. Equilibrium is arguably that way, but the movie was actually made in the 90s, so it wasn't
Yeah.
purposely trying to do it. Yeah.
That's what they thought the future would look like. Yeah.
Yes. But they've taken inspiration
Oh.
from the day the movie was made. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
it
knew
is
I
like a lot of
recognized this guy.
I'm pretty sure brutalism was a lot like from, I don't know if it's after, like during like the Cold War era kind of, because there's all like very, yeah, like concrete and giant buildings.
Yeah, apparently they took that inspiration from when they went to Japan or something. I think it was Japan or
Oh.
China. I was watching a video about it. They were talking about where they got their art style from, but apparently it was just concrete buildings everywhere, and like that's where they
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Oh, Quantum, you mentioned this earlier. We're watching
did?
the movie, and they were in Japan, and you said it looked like Vail.
Where? What movie was this?
We
Makes
were
sense.
just watching the Captain America movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about
Wait,
that
the
movie.
new
but,
one?
The new Captain America, yeah, it's kind of ass.
Yeah,
but
there's a part where
With
they're in
Harrison
Japan.
Ford as Red Hulk? Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, well, there's a part they're in
What?
Japan.
That guy like 90.
Yeah.
Exactly. He also plays the president in the movie, so the president is Red Hulk and also Harrison Ford. It was a really bad movie. Anyway, you were
Yeah.
saying, Elkatoon?
Mentioned
It was just
when they
this
were in
one
Japan. There was one
yeah, this
scene
one
that they were in
scene they're
Japan.
like they're meeting with the prime minister of Japan, and then yeah, his like headquarters or whatever just like
Office.
look, yeah, a lot like Vail. Just like
Huh.
that starting, what is it, that one room in your, what is it, in like, I wouldn't say
A
your
living-
safe house, but like the training area that used to get put in before the Citadel was a thing.
like your
Yeah, and then
room.
yeah, and I also forgot that there's like an ATM over by like there's a whole room for the like
Yeah.
buying gun skins and stuff.
Huh.
But yeah.
That's interesting, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, to all of our viewers, don't go wasting your money on Captain America: Brave New World, unless you want to see Harrison Ford play the president and also the Red Hulk,
Oh Jesus.
which is
Yeah.
unbelievably.
It's I hate movies these days, man. It's crazy.
There's nothing
you know,
good.
You know what went wrong? It wasn't all the woke shit. It was that they don't make movies for specific audiences anymore. They try to make movies for everyone, and then it
Just try to
dilutes
get
the concept.
most money they can.
They're so diluted. It's terrible.
Hot take: the last decent movie to come out was the Dogman movie. That
What?
was actually
I
so good.
didn't watch that.
I want to watch it.
What is that?
Really good. Have you never heard of Dogman? Oh, right, you're old.
Dogman? I am old.
A comic, it's a childhood comic that like our generation, like our age group, the 16 to 15-year-olds used to read as a kid. By our author by the name of Dave Pikely, I think.
Ilky or something like that.
He also wrote like a bunch of other kids' books, but
Captain Underpants, I think, too.
Captain Underpants.
I used to read Captain Underpants when I was your guys' age, so
no, it's the same author as Captain Underpants. Yeah.
Nice.
Dogman was after that.
That's good. Pharrell Williams' Brick by Brick was also a really good movie. The one of the story told in Lego, that one was good.
Oh, that one.
I don't think I didn't actually see that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We want to see a Vail movie now. Someone got
Give
it
us-
animated in Blender.
Listen.
They have to do it.
If they give me enough scenery in the extraction mode, I would make a movie, like a fan made movie, like 100%.
Yeah.
I'm
Or if
Vail
they
movie
gave
would
me-
be amazing, yeah.
If you guys,
I'm working
if
on
they
it.
gave me
Tactical's
the,
fault.
of course, yeah. If they gave me the models, I remember I asked them one time for the Kanto model because I wanted to 3D print it, and they didn't give it to me, so I just like modeled it myself and made one.
So,
But yeah,
I
it's
was
pretty cool.
talking about this yesterday. It was 2 days
Yeah.
ago with Tropical. I said, what are you planning on for CGI trailers? Because like Ghost of
Yeah.
War and like all these guys have amazing marketing, and like
Yep.
Get Quanta to do it.
I actually have
okay,
a
well,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, so how was that first trailer? You know the one that like is so good, the first trailer, and there's like all this. I feel like I don't know if they've made a new one after that, but like the old trailer,
Mhm.
the Vail
For
trailer,
Vail, right?
The one where it's like, yeah, they're like tossing mags to each other, and like some guy jumps with 2 knives in his hands. Yeah, was that made all like? How did they make that?
So they hired a company to do that stuff, and I was asking Tropical about it the 2 days ago because I was like,
Yeah.
what's your marketing gonna be like? Like CGI trailers are fucking awesome. It's a reason
Yeah.
people do it because it sells games. And he's like, here's the thing, man. Like we hired this company that did that first one, and there's a reason they don't do too many. They've done like that one, and he's
Mhm.
like, it's fucking expensive. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Like that trailer was good, but that wasn't like good, you know? Like there's
Yeah.
been some pretty sick ones. And so if you guys think you can put something awesome together, that would be fucking amazing.
I would
Yeah,
learn Blender and do it for $3 whole.
I would do it for
Present
nothing.
that as an option to him. Me and Quantum will knock out a trailer in a week for $3
Yeah.
whole and early access to the.
Not
extraction
even.
mode.
I would be surprised if they even gave us the models though, because like people could use that. Because I've always thought like they wouldn't give you the models because they'd be scared that we're gonna like make our own game and like.
But then
Yeah,
they
but
just
then it's,
do.
like,
They
obviously
definitely have it
stealing.
patented. Like there's no way
Yeah.
they.
It's tough because you could take those models because they've spent so many years optimizing them. Yeah, because you know when people make games, it's one of the hardest parts is optimizing, right? So it just recently
So-
they changed the models, and that was like
Yeah.
how many years have Vail been out?
I don't know, but yeah. So
Yeah.
that first trailer they animated that, right? Or did they like
Yeah,
have
yeah.
people in? Oh, sick! Because it's weird because they all those characters in that trailer move exactly like the ones in Vail. I guess they might have used the
No.
same animations, probably.
I kind of understand it. Like, yeah, they didn't want to move too far from the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like to pay a company like this, like Vail is like X Labs like probably almost a $10 million company.
Mhm.
And like to you know the CEO being like it was really expensive. I don't even
Yeah.
want to know how much he paid for that. That's I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
We
like
would do it for free, just for a
I
shout
know.
out on their
Dude.
Twitter or Instagram or something. We do it for a shout out. That's all I'm gonna say.
And
I-
early
I might have
access.
If it was expensive, it
modeling.
might have been hard, man. I don't know, but it would be awesome to have them. We need so
Yeah.
much lore and like we need
If
so
you
much
wanna
marketing.
yeah, if you want to see
Yeah.
anything I've made, you look at the
Your
Bone Lab
Blender
thing I
animation
made.
was so good. Your
Mhm.
The
Bone
one I
Lab
made
Blender
for
animation?
yeah, if you look at my channel, it should be like
Hmm.
yeah, Ford something. You know Ford from Bone Lab,
Mhm.
Boneworks. Yeah, have you played that game before?
I haven't
No.
actually. Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those games that I'm totally missing out on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very niche, and I'd say it's only because like
It's
yeah,
for
the people who like
specific-
it. Yeah, it's crazy though because the lore for that game goes so deep, and like the amount of time they've worked on it, and also the lore of the company too, because that's like the same guys, like all the original like Rocket Jump guys and like the people who make Corridor Crew, they're like all kind of intertwined with that company, which is kind of
Is
cool.
it just Quanta? Like Quanta H?
It's
Quantum
Quantum VR. It might be hard to find.
No,
But
you're
yeah,
500
send me a
subs
link, man.
is unique.
Yeah, I'll send you it.
Yeah, because
Quanta.
if dude, I gotta convince Tropical to put some better marketing together, like for these modes, man.
Yeah.
Like I got it because I've been really harping him on it, and he's been kind of like I don't know, not dodging it, but like man, it's so
Mhm.
important. But
Because like
you guys wanna-
even I don't know how you get into this, but like you know how Meta like promotes some games
on their like
on their
official.
things? Yeah.
Mhm.
I've never seen Vail do that, but I guess they probably don't want to get too like I don't know, connected with meta because they're probably like really bad people to work with.
Well,
would
Vail
assume.
works close with meta now. Like
They
you
do?
have to. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to. And yeah, they're on their stores and everything. And I think Vail's one of the top
Yeah,
games
definitely.
on there now. And yeah, no, they need all the help they can get. All these games do, man. Like these guys are in a really tricky industry. Holy crap.
Tabor, please humble yourselves. It's not worth it, Scott. Your game is dying. It's getting overshadowed by like 30 other games. Gorilla Tag's gonna overtake you in the extraction space.
Dude,
crazy.
yeah. Apparently that game's amazing. Yeah.
Scott, just humble yourself. It's worth it. Trust. But he's a good
Gorilla
He might have
Tag
been. He might have. Yeah, he might be. People can change, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But if back to the marketing thing. If what's his face? I forget the name already. Even though you've said it like 30 times.
Tropical is
I
his.
was gonna say tomato, but that didn't sound right. if Tropical wants help with the animation thing, couldn't hurt to reach out for us to make him a free one. If he doesn't use
or
it,
even
whatever.
just like art and stuff. That would be sick.
We could also do some we could fangirl this shit. We could make some art. We could make some art.
Look at our intro, our current intro. It's made
Our
by
intro's
Quantum.
so fire.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
Damn. Okay.
I'm
Dude.
getting hungry.
All right.
And we've been on for about an hour.
Damn. Flies by.
I say we end it here. Do any of you have any final thoughts?
Yeah,
No,
one thing that stood out to me
There you are.
when like watching your video.
Yeah.
Was that there wasn't going to be any food ordering in the game, which I found interesting because most games in the space like try to go for like more like survival game. But I think it could be more fun and engaging to like only focus on shooting at the other players.
Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. You know, it's tough, man. Like these extraction games are inspired by things like DayZ, and like they were inspired by games like essentially DayZ, which is funny because you know they're not DayZ, and so you know taking those survival mechanics out of it it's a direction. You got to fill it with stuff to do though if you're gonna take that type of. If you're going to take away from it, and this is me because I'm a Tarkov guy, just saying. So, yeah, no eating, no drinking. Fuck that.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is nice because I hate.
That's going back to the Tropicals liking it for the game, not for the immersiveness, kind of. I think.
Yeah,
and
because
also
like
the way Delta Force does it, because they don't really. They're not big on
they're a games game, right? You play Delta Force, you're doing like global activities, and then you're going for a vault that like other people can see, and then you're doing solo missions, you're doing public missions. Like they got a lot going on. They got bosses, you know. They have a lot of content that you can interact with, as opposed to starving to death in a field.
Yeah,
you know, it's just
I'm guessing with the extraction mode. Yeah, no, the new extraction mode, they're going to be implementing like AI into that, right? Like an AI system.
Yes.
So does that mean that also like lobbies will get that too? Like you can join a game and then just play against like a bunch of bots or something?
Yes, I believe they're adding a solo mode. Same as like Tarkov's solo mode.
Yeah.
So like yes, you'll have your own character, your own progress campaign, all solo, as well as the public one, because that was such a high demand. Yeah, VR is a little different. It's just strange, and even when Tarkov implemented that, like half the players are playing that. You know, Nikita said in an interview recently that like he was surprised at the amount of people that were interested in it. So solo.
I would like to end off with saying that one thing I would really, really like to see in the story mode is a mission where you have a sniper and you must assassinate a high-ranking officer of the Arab Corporation.
They're Arab. What the fuck?
What?
Oh, you said I heard Arab, not
Rayab.
Oh no, Rayab.
I thought you were doing a bit. Oh god, I'm getting canceled. Oh no. Oh, cut that out, editor. Cut that out.
That's hilarious.
That's the worst misinterpretation.
Arab, I've never even thought of Arab when it's That's funny. But yeah, dude, that would be sick. It'd be sick to have like a few of those missions because like that would just make sense.
Because I find what happens a lot in VR is you get like games where it's basically you just go into a room, you shoot guys, you go to the next room, you shoot more guys.
Yeah.
And it's like it gets very repetitive. That's the huge thing that that brought Bone Lab down for a lot of players that aren't into like the physics stuff is that there just wasn't like anything to do really.
The story's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Wasn't Board Works far better in terms of all that stuff?
Yeah. Because it had a better story, a more followable story. There's like actual kind of objectives, and of course it's on PC, so the whole thing like ran better and just looked cooler. But yeah.
I think Vail for a campaign has to take inspiration. I don't know. Let's put money aside, and like they should really try to make some sort of Half-Life Alyx-esque type storyline with voice acting and and what would you say, cutscenes and stuff like that? Not cutscenes, but like in-game cutscenes, like lots of cool things to see. Yeah,
that's something that like made I don't know if you ever played, what was it, the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge? That was one of the best story games I've ever played in VR because it's like it uses so much like extra characters and like side characters that you interact with, so it's not just it doesn't feel lonely.
You can say that again. I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now, and it's like it's like the king of story games. Apparently, I'm going through it for the first time right now, and the characters are amazing. The exploration, the loot, like you're just interacting with the map. Like you're not fighting like half the time or most of the time because you're doing so many things interactively. And Half-Life Alyx like has that balance as a shooter VR game. Like you're trying to balance it. You need to have load time and uptime. You can't just have all uptime. Makes sense.
Baldur's Gate being the king of story is interesting considering the existence of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Right.
That is
Red
an
Dead 2
interesting take to say the least.
Yeah. They're hard to compare to. I mean, you can compare them, but like they're both pretty like top end of what they're doing.
Yeah,
and like
different type games.
Yeah, and like Witcher 3 too is like a fucking banger. So that was a great game. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of, we've talked about everything.
That was a podcast, you know, like that was went everywhere.
That was a banger. It was very solid
podcast.
Yeah,
that started off
good.
when we were supposed to talk to you, then we started talking about Dogman or whatever.
Yeah.
All
this
right.
is Media Man. Yeah.
With that absolutely said and done, I would like to thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening or morning wherever you may be. Stay safe, and don't go fry your brains off on VR. Touch grass occasionally. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.